mentioned Bucha, and I found that very interesting because, I was a career prosecutor. I was the head of the criminal law division in the Pentagon, responsible for criminal prosecutions within the Army worldwide, and I got there because I was known as a very, very stern prosecutor at major military installations. And so I sort of have a way of looking at crime scenes in a very rational way. So I saw the videos that were sent out of Bucha, and immediately they were different. Now, you and I have seen massive slaughters in Syria by Al Qaeda and its affiliates, ISIS, all of these other names that they come up with. They're all under the umbrella of Al Qaeda. And when you see a slaughter, a mass slaughter, it is generally you have people who are brought together in a place. That's where they're beheaded, or that's where they're gunned down, or whatever. This was interesting because in Bucha, first of all, the bodies didn't start appearing until 4 days after the Russians left. The mayor of the city proclaimed, glory, hallelujah. The Russians had been driven out. There was not a mention of any slaughter, anything of that sort. Then all of a sudden, 4 days after the Ukrainian psychological operations troops entered the city, dead people started appearing on the streets. And they showed videos of, out the window where they're driving along, and here would be a dead person. Over there would be a dead person. 100 feet further, there was a dead person. All of them right on the side of the street with their hands zip tied behind them, just the same way that the Ukrainian soldiers zip tie all of their prisoners. And it was interesting because you look at the armbands that were worn by these civilians who were laying dead there. Now, the custom at the time, if someone was a Ukrainian sympathizer, they would wear a blue armband. If they were either a Russian sympathizer or simply just totally neutral, they'd wear a white armband. All of the armbands were white. None of them were blue. Why weren't Ukrainian sympathizers killed? Why only Russian sympathizers? Why would the Russians choose to kill Russian sympathizers as they're leaving town? Now, the Russians had occupied Bucha for over a month. I don't know how long it was. And if they had decided they were going to execute some people, why not round them up, take them out in the woods, slaughter them, bury them, and get rid of the evidence? Mm-hmm. That's the way. You and I have seen these things. Yeah. We've seen these things happen in Syria. And I've watched similar things over a lifetime. But that was what happened. Now, if the Russians were going to do that, now why would they wait until they're leaving town to gun people down? And why would they choose to lay them down like monuments along the road, mm-hmm. As clear evidence that they had done it? The whole thing was such a total transparent fraud that it was just amazing that mainstream, the corporate media, journalists totally overlooked it and assumed that, oh, well, this must have been Russians because the Ukrainians told us it was Russians who did it.